Okay, this week's tip of the week is going to be file exchange standards for VES. We really have three scenarios of file sharing when you send stuff via email. You send files out of Office. We share files between each other in Office or want to show people where files are shared. And then we have a temporary collaboration on files that would otherwise be in a restricted folder. So the first option is sending files out of Office, which we should all be familiar with. So our first week is going to be sending files out of Office. We typically need to send files to clients or other collaborators, and we do this, pretty regularly. I'm going to use this Countryside Pillars project just as an example. Now, when we're sending information out of Office, we want to make sure we track what we've sent and when we've sent it. So when it's project related, we always want to send it in the projects folder. We want to keep this copy in our deliverables folder. And in the deliverables folder, for every time you send something out, you create a new folder with the date format, year, month, day, and then a short description. For this one, I'm going to go test email sample. And then I'll just delete this from this project afterwards. So you create this folder, and in the folder, you put whichever documents you need to put in there, whether it be CAD files, a Revit model, PDFs. In this case, I'm going to look in this project's ZZ checks just to see what was there. Just grab a few files, copy those, paste them in. So all the files, once they're assembled in this folder, you place them in there. And this is a very simple process. You select the folder, right click on it, Dropbox, send with Dropbox transfer. You get a dialog pops up. It says I can do 3.5 meg out of 2 gig. Create this transfer. Copy this link, or I can send an email. Either one. I'll copy the link. Maybe I want to, start my email up with my signature block. I start a new email. I'm going to send it to user@veschicago.com, which is not to anybody. Well, it is to me, I guess. So I put the subject. I can type my message, any other pertinent information, and since I've copied that link to my clipboard, I can right click and paste, or you can hit Control V to paste. You hit enter. This is now a hyperlink. I send this off. The user, as you can see, there's no attachments. They get the link. They can download this link directly from our Dropbox server, and they have the files. The nice part about the link is this does expire after 7 days, so there's some security ingrained within it. So this is the official way to send information out of Office on a project. It has to go in the deliverables folder. So next scenario, let's say I don't want to send a file in a project. Maybe it's a personal file. For example, maybe I want to send a document to GMS, but I don't want to attach it in email. In your M drive, in Dropbox, you can see that everybody has their own personal folder in here, and this is private. Nobody else in the company can see this. I can't see it as an IT administrator. This is your own personal space to put your documents. So what I did is I just put a new folder, personal outbound, in this folder, and in here you can do the same thing. You can put any kind of document in there with a folder. I would prefer to keep the same name, but this is your personal one. You can do whatever you need to do. My payroll adjustment, let's say. Or, let's say it's a change of address. My change address document. whatever you need to send to whomever you need to send it to. And in here, you can put a new whatever document, you know, put it in here. 123 Main Street. Save the document. And now it's the same process. You can send just the document itself with the Dropbox, send with Dropbox transfer, create this transfer, copy the link, or just send the email this time. You can say send it just like this. Transfer sent to me. And this is what your recipient is going to see. Okay. Eric Olson sent me some files, change your address. I can download the file here. It's going to take me to web transfer, download. Now that's been given to your recipient. Very secure, doesn't sit in your outbox, won't sit in their inbox. It'll be where they put it. So that's the way you can send files that aren't necessarily related to a project or a proposal number. Our next scenario is shared files in Office inside the VES environment, and I want to review why we have a specific standard for this. It offers us several benefits. The first is, and the primary, is it reduces Office server bloat significantly. If I email an attachment to somebody, I copy that attachment, say it's a 10 megabyte Word file, goes in my outbox in my sent files. The second copy is saved in the recipient's inbox. So now we've got 10 megs plus 10 megs, it's 20 megs total stored on our email server in Office 365. This gets increasingly more bloatful if I send it to all 17 people of VES. So now the size is multiplied by 17. The one copy that stays in my sent items, and then the 10 copies, assuming nobody deletes their emails, 10 megabyte in every folder for every recipient for 180 megabyte stored on the email server. The other issue is when you're trying to do document management, document versioning, it can get out of hand quickly, especially if it's between multiple people. Let's say Eric signs a document and he wants to email it to Bill, Scott, and Ian so they can also sign that same document. Ian will sign it, send the copy back, and reply all. Typical workflow. At the same time, Scott might sign his copy and email it back, reply all also. Finally, Bill sees that, there's two versions that have come in my inbox. I'm going to use the latest version. He grabs the one Ian replied all to and sends it back as a reply all himself. So now Eric has three versions, one with Ian's signature, one with Scott's signature, one with Ian and Bill's signature, but no version that's all with all three. On top of that, there's also the issue of server bloat, as this document is passed around. First time by Eric, 4 copies, one in Outbox, one in each of the recipient's inboxes. Then Ian replies all, sends back. He's got a different copy in his Outbox, and again, 3 in each of the recipient's inboxes. And Scott does the same thing, 4 more. Bill does the same thing, 4 more. As you can see, we've got 16 total copies in various stages of completion, yet none of them are complete. So we can eliminate that by using the VES standard, which we're going to look at now. All right, to share file locations or to share files in the Office in just general folders, what you want to use is the M drive. Everybody has an M drive map in their File Explorer. I've seen this happen several times. This VES Dropbox is here, and it's very tempting to want to click in this. And you can see the folder structure is the same. It is the same spot, but if you want to copy the path, you got to go through the M drive. Just make a habit of using the M drive to access everything. Let's say I want to tell Bill, hey, I've updated a project, or I want to tell Steven to update a project. Maybe a new file came in from an architect. Um, I'll just pick any one of these out of the hat. And let's try Wild. So I'll navigate to the folder I want to share. Say I've got an incoming. Oh, here's an updated approved permit set. Sure. I want to open this up. All I have to do is go to the URL, the Uniform Resource Locator at the top. And you can see this says M. Copy that. Start my new email. To Bill, whomever my distribution is. My subject. Call it permit. And I can just Control V, paste in the path. The reason it's important to use the M drive versus going through the Dropbox is it changes which URL. It'll change the number, the letter of the URL if you go through the VES Dropbox, which I'll show you. So it is the same. If I go to the URL up here, notice this says D in there. So D, VES Dropbox, this is different in each person's computer. Some people, this will be a C drive. Some people, it'll be a D drive. In some cases, it could be the F drive. It could be a different physical drive depending on who receives the link, because everybody's Dropbox can be configured differently to support the hardware configuration on the computer. And I'll bet if everybody takes a look at this, we're not necessarily all on a D drive. Some of you are on a C drive. Some of you might be on a C users, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, some other kind of path before we get to the rest of the path where it starts with VES Dropbox. You eliminate this problem by just using the M drive. That's what I wanted to illustrate here today. The file sharing. So always go through your M drive when you're trying to grab URL to send to somebody if you're pointing them to a common shared location on it. Our final file exchange is a scenario where we have a user that needs to sign a document or work on a document that normally is stored in a protected or restricted folder. In the M drive, in the operations folder, there's internal file exchange. This folder is editable to anybody at VES. We all have right access to it. We open this up, and in here, right now, we have these PPE acknowledgement forms that I send a notification out. I didn't actually send a PDF via attachment. I put the PDFs I wanted signed in this folder and told people to come here when they receive their PPE and sign their acknowledgement. Taj told me this morning he had signed. I can see by the date stamp on it that he did in fact sign it. So now that this is completed, I can cut it, move it to the HR folder, which is restricted. It's restricted for security because people's sensitive information is in there. I place it in here. It's now in a secure location. I've removed it out of this internal file exchange, and I didn't have to waste a bunch of time digging it back and forth and attaching it to emails and loading up our server. Much faster. So please use this internal file exchange if you need to have other people sign documents or work on documents that are normally a hidden area or a restricted area. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any other questions regarding exchanging files in or out of house, please feel free to reach out to me for additional assistance. Thank you.